Led by the power of Grayskull.
Hello, this is just a quick review for Overpass. It came out on the 28th of February 2020. I waited until it came down a bit in price and then I went and got it because when I looked at other people doing the reviews, it didn't look as good as I thought it would be. But this is my just first impressions really. I'm a huge off-road fan. And especially this type of off-roading, time trials, kind of, like points or second penalties, like time penalties for crossing over the tape and crawling up like tyres and the seesaws and crawling over logs and rock crawling, basically. And it's been ages since we've had a decent game like this. There was Mud Runners. Spin tyres, mud runners. That was the closest we had, where it was real mud physics. Huge selection of like well-known off-road vehicles, military stuff, but the aim of the game there was basically like this, but you're just transporting stuff from A to B, and you're trying to get through the big thick mud and everything like that. It is one of those games where you first start playing it and you think this is too hard. I can't play, even when you do the tutorial, which is very bare bones. There's a lot of things I think they've missed out on this game, like which are essential to keeping the game like flawless. They've concentrated on the mud and the weather and everything, the environment, and they've concentrated on the physics, but they've left things out. Like sometimes it's unrealistic. I mean, they've got it in the game so that when you turn over or if you tip your truck, like your little buggy, then you've got to respawn and hold in square button, and that respawns you, which takes far too long for a game where you're going to be respawning and restarting a lot. The loading times for a restart is ages, and then the actual holding down square, it just takes a long time for it to fill up and respawn, but the timer doesn't pause, so you're getting timed. It's all about time, so you want to try and be as quick as you can, and yet it keeps like time ticking on. As soon as you press and hold square, it should pause time, so you can just continue from where you last left off. And also, if you fall, like say off a bit of a hill and you roll into the tape, even though you're pressing square, because it takes so long for it to reset, you'll get a 2-second time penalty because your car's rolled through the tape, and that goes on your permanent time. Like, it doesn't take into account that you were holding square down before you got the time penalty, so you shouldn't have incurred it. Just little things like that. The fact, like, when it's like, obviously if you've played Grand Theft Auto, if your car turns on its side, you can hold your direction and you can flip it back around again. Obviously it's not an option on here, but it's not forgiven in any way. Sometimes you're sliding down the hill, and if you were driving with your wheels pointing towards the floor, you would get grip again, like you do on Grand Theft. Without trying to manipulate the physics of the car, you can just get grip on your wheels and flip it again. This, it doesn't let you do that. You'll just stay on your side and your wheels are turning and it's just, little stuff like that. I know the whole aim of the game is to keep your balance and to throttle control and to find the quickest route. That's probably the best way, but it's a combination of all those things. As you can see on the screen, there's quite a few tracks. Each venue has, like a few tracks, some more than others. This is just going through the tracks to see what's available. But like I said, I'm 50-50 on it, because there's times where I've been playing it and I've thought, get in, this is the best game I've ever played. And then there's been times where I'm just restarting. I'm stuck on a certain hill, or like the spawn point. You'll get so far, you don't know if you're going to continue or not, but you'll get so far up the hill, and then an invisible continues there, so when you respawn after that, you start halfway up the hill, but it'll start you with not enough run up to even tackle the obstacle. So you're just wasting time because your first attempt you realize you can't make it, then you have to reverse back and then try a second attempt. That's another thing. When you reverse back, the R2 and L2 of like, for a game that relies on throttle control and sensitivity and stuff like that, it lets itself down because literally you can press R2 to accelerate and you'll move backwards because your wheels are slipping, obviously, and the weight of the car means you're falling down the hill. But then if you press reverse, then you'll move forward somehow. They've got it mixed up where I'm trying to make minute corrections to the steering because you're trying to get up this bit, and it's all about the precision, and yet you'll press R2 and you'll just start driving backwards. Like, you'll slip more than you would. You haven't even put any accelerator on. It just feels very frustrating. If you look at the footage now, like, look, as soon as you turn over, there's no way of getting back onto your feet. It doesn't give you a chance to sort yourself out. You have to keep respawning. This is an actual real-time restart. Look how long it takes each time to restart, which gets very annoying, especially when you're trying to say, I've got to do 3 laps here, and you've got to keep the momentum up. That's like the aim of the game. You just do a half throttle and just keep your momentum up, and then you can tackle most of the obstacles. But look, do you see the slightest thing? Like, the physics don't seem realistic in relation to the weight of the buggy, how easy it'll tip over. Do you see? It's very glitchy graphics, and it's not very, that's its main selling point. You should have concentrated on that more instead of the environment, which is a big part of it, I agree, but you need to have those physics on the actual buggies and that down to a T, because that is the aim of the game, and you should be able to do precision inputs with directional pad, or even just with your L2 and R2 buttons. They don't seem as responsive as they should be. It's very frustrating. But like I said, I love this game. I love these kind of off-road events where you've got the 2 red flags like that, so that you have to tackle this obstacle. If you try and drive around it, you get like 12 seconds or 10-second time penalties, so it's worth trying to tackle them. Some of them are no bother like that. You can just go straight over, depending on how upgraded your truck is. Again, it just depends on your route, like the driving line that you want to take. It's all crucial on that. It's crucial on throttle control. There's a lot of tactical stuff to it. It's not just put your foot down and find the best way. It's just a really good game. They've got the basis to make an absolute classic. It's like if you've ever played Trials, like Trials Evolution, Trials Fusion. It's that kind of thing, such a simple concept, but because people love off-road and, those kind of trial bikes where you're balancing on the back wheel and you're going up a really impossible steep obstacle and you're trying to get over it, it's like a puzzle game, as well as, like a motorbike off-roading game, and this has got that same potential. This could be amazing. Some of the courses are really tight where you wouldn't get a vehicle much bigger than the one that you're in now to be able to traverse the rocks and stuff and get round it. So if you cut that tape, you get 4 seconds there. But it's all about throttle control, about 5,000 revs, and you can just about get some grip, but you're creeping up ever so slowly. But sometimes it's worth just to reverse and just to have another shot at it, because you're just wasting time doing wheel spins. You have to be able to try and just keep the flow going, keep the momentum up, and just try and, it's not about speed, it's about having the right amount of speed and the right driving line with the right momentum, all encased together. It's very technical, like I was saying. It's such a good game. It's got the potential. They should have old Land Rovers, like the Defender ones. They should put them in. Put the good old Toyota Hilux in, and some of the old Toyotas and stuff. And you could have loads of new vehicles. You could have loads of old school stuff. stuff from the 70s with like massive, like daft wheels on them, and you should be able to customize your own vehicle as well. That would be, I mean, you can put upgrades on. You can upgrade the engine, upgrade the suspension and stuff like that, but you basically got 4 options and it goes from shit to good, and they get more expensive, so that's not really customization. You may as well just have all them just built on, and just don't have that, and just have the like the buggy the best it can be performance wise, because it's still hard. Even if you've got a souped up buggy, it's not like a breeze. It just means you can do, like, you can enter a log like that at a faster speed and not fuck your suspension, because in between rounds you've got to repair your car, and it's like a real life event. If you've got more than say 25% damage, you'll forfeit the next like run, because you'll be fixing your car while everyone else is racing. Or if it's less than 25%, you can just pay to have it repaired in between sessions, so you don't really miss out on any points. But you can also use repair kits. You get given 3 when you first start, but I would just keep them, because sometimes you're going to need it where you need the car repaired and you haven't got the money, or you just don't have enough space on the leaderboard to let one of the rounds go without any points. So like I said, there is a motorsport like that, like even in Iceland, when they've got those big paddle tires and they're going up those sheer rock faces and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff they should include. I know there is rock crawlers on this. I haven't unlocked it yet. There is rock crawling on this, with like just a bigger vehicle with a bigger axle and wider wheelbase. But it's not the same as having like a Ford Bronco trying to get up this hill, or like I said, Defender 1, Range Rover, Land Rovers. Like that's what would make this game amazing. Have your winch on the front, so you can winch to different points, like like trees and stuff, and you can try and get yourself up. Also have this kind where it's the race and performance buggies and you're doing this exact same thing, but also have a variation on it where it's just like an assault course. Instead of it being like a hill climb, having an assault course, and you can just change and customize the paint jobs and change the wheels, and just make it your own, because then the online community, that's where they would get the big online community with the customization and the vehicles. I mean, there's quads, and then there's like ATVs, the Americans call them, all-terrain vehicles, but we call them quads in the UK because they've got 4 wheels. So there's a quad, and then there's these, what you're seeing now, which are just like, I don't know, like buggies, like dune buggy type things. But these are the professional ones that they would use. But again, it's just like scaffolding poles with an engine. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a car, but you could just change the skin of the car and have it as a Land Rover or something just better than this. Even have trikes, like 70s trikes with the big knobbly tires on, like they look like quads, but obviously they've only got 3 wheels, and that kind of thing. Just you could have so many things. Do monster trucks. You could have. Even the trials bikes, the gas bikes, I think they're called, it's either gas or enduro bikes or something like that. And where they're where you can jump from a standing still, you've got to balance, and then you've got to jump up onto the top of a log or something by just using the throttle and the clutch. You build up the throttle and then you pop the clutch and just use your body weight to like bunny hop up onto stuff. That would be an amazing game, and this is what it reminds us of, that kind of thing. Trials, where you've got to keep your balance, because when you're driving a quad, you've got to lean with the right stick to help the rider, but the rider leans such a little amount. Sometimes you just think, what's the fucking point? And look at the quads, look at the way they look. They look like the quads you'd get on a farm. Like there's just too much body work. You need to have more of a variation in the quads. There's only 3 paint jobs per vehicle, the liveries, and even then they're not different, they're just different colours. You get like, it'll be bog standard yellow, and one of the liveries will be orange, and you just think, what's the fucking point? It's too close. You should have them all different, or just let the user, like change the colors and stuff. But like I said, it's a really good game. It's definitely worth out going to get, but it's just really hard. And I hope they patch it soon and just fix a lot of the little bugs in it and just make the physics more bearable. But I would give it a good 8 out of 10. But definitely go and buy it because it's meant. And that's it. See you later.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.